You walk into a room, no dramatic voiceover, no ticking clock, just a simple, silent button sitting right there in front of you. But then someone whispers the one sentence that changes literally everything. If you press it, the world will never be the same again. Not for a day, not for a year, forever. Suddenly, we're not just looking at a piece of plastic anymore. It's a question. It's pure fear. It's the entire history of humanity compressed into one impossible choice.
Just an ordinary button. Think about it. The most dangerous thing in the world isn't a weapon, a biovirus, or some massive explosion. It's this deceptively simple object sitting right in front of you. The terror doesn't come from what it looks like. It's in what it does. Because once it's pressed, there is absolutely no going back. Human beings are incredibly resilient, right? We can survive almost any physical danger, but what we can't survive easily is irreversible change dictated by a single human hand. And honestly, before anyone even lays a finger on it, the mere existence of this device would trigger an instant, explosive global panic. Intelligence agencies would be racing to control it, throwing it into some armored, blacked-out bunker. Military forces would initiate immediate lockdowns. And the media, a 24-hour obsession would erupt instantly. Social platforms would completely drown in speculation. Is it a weapon? Is it alien tech? A peace device? This is what you'd call psychological radiation. The button disrupts the entire globe before it's even pressed, reshaping politics and markets purely through the terrifying knowledge that this power exists.
So, let's dive into part 1, the paradox of paradise. Can a button actually fix humanity?
Here's our first huge what if. What if pressing this button ends all wars instantly? Just imagine it. One press and boom, no more bombs, no more missiles, no more soldiers dying for borders or ideologies. Hostilities just vanish and weapons are instantly disabled. Generations of suffering dissolve in a single second. Children can finally sleep without fear, and the whole military-industrial machine collapses overnight. I mean, on paper, it sounds like an absolute miracle, right?
But let's really look at this. Compare perfect peace against artificial force. If peace is just manufactured by a button, is it actually real peace? Without the messy, painful struggle of diplomacy, people aren't learning how to cooperate. They're just submitting to forced obedience because they literally have no other choice. We really have to ask ourselves, does peace without struggle make humanity wiser, or does it just make us weaker?
Okay, let's take it a step further. What if the button erases all suffering? This is arguably the ultimate gift to humanity. Disease? Gone. Hunger? Ends instantly. Depression is completely repaired. We'd suddenly wake up in a world with no reason to let hospitals overflow and zero reason to ever let another child starve.
But here's the catch, the core paradox. On one hand, yes, we've erased pain, but right next to it is a catastrophic cost, lost resilience. If you completely remove pain, what actually happens to empathy? What happens to our moral growth? Would we even know how to appreciate joy if we had never ever felt loss? Humanity has always been shaped by our struggles. By wiping out pain with a single click, we might accidentally destroy the deep sacred resilience and compassion that makes the human experience mean anything at all.
And that brings us to resources. Imagine the button flips the global economy overnight, taking us from all this stressful scarcity directly into 100% global abundance. No more energy crises, no more fighting over water or land. But the crucial takeaway here is this: unlimited resources do not automatically fix human nature. A world with absolutely everything will still feel profoundly empty if human hearts remain selfish and divided. We might solve material scarcity for sure, but emotional scarcity, that remains untouched.
Moving on to part 2, unraveling reality, the chaos of playing God.
What if the button rewinds time? Now this might be the absolute most dangerous temptation of all, because almost everyone believes they know that one mistake worth undoing. A parent might want to prevent a heartbreaking personal tragedy. A nation might want to erase a historical disaster, or a massive corporation might try to undo a financial collapse.
But time isn't just a chalkboard you can easily erase. It's a highly sensitive, interconnected web. Say you go back 10 years to erase a tragedy. Well, by doing so, 5 years ago, thousands of people who were meant to meet or be born are suddenly erased from existence. And by today, the future is completely destroyed. Pulling one single thread to fix a past mistake creates 10 new disasters and shakes the entire structure of reality to its core.
Okay, how about this? What if the button reveals every hidden truth? Imagine every single government secret, every false narrative,
every personal lie, and every suppressed discovery dropping out of the sky and into our laps at exactly the same moment.
Total truth can heal, but many minds would break before they could adapt. It's totally true that lies are expensive. And yeah, radical truth could potentially cure a corrupt civilization, but human beings rarely survive getting it all at once. Some identities, some entire societies, are held together by carefully maintained illusions. If the button dumped all truth onto humanity in one blinding second, the psychological devastation would be unimaginable.
Which brings us to our final section, the ultimate test, the mirror of human desire.
What if the button isn't global at all, but deeply, deeply personal? What if it only changes you? The wild thing is, even a personal change creates an unstoppable global consequence. Mind reading? That destroys all human trust forever. Invisibility? That permanently undermines every private space on Earth. An inability to lie? That entirely reshapes politics, relationships, and the law. Even if the button alters just one single human being, the course of history is irrevocably redirected by that one altered life.
Which perfectly sets up this quote: "The moment you create a world-changing button, you create a mirror." This is the real critical realization of this entire explainer. The button doesn't just test our intelligence, it tests our morality, our restraint, and our hidden, desperate desire to make reality just obey us. We all secretly harbor this belief that the world would be better if we were in charge of just one impossible thing.
But let's be real for a second. This isn't just a fantasy. We already hold humanity's existing buttons: artificial intelligence, advanced medicine, digital media, modern weapons. We already wield massive pieces of this world-altering power in our everyday lives. Technology and media are shaping lives on a colossal scale every single second. The imaginary button simply takes the moral question of how we use these existing tools and makes it impossible to ignore.
And honestly, that leads us to the hardest, least cinematic truth of all. Real change comes from millions of small choices made by ordinary people every single day. The ultimate answer is that the button should never be pressed. We love dramatic fixes, we really do, but the world is way too complex for single-button miracles. True progress doesn't come from sweeping magic. It requires the heavy, everyday, unglamorous personal responsibility of deciding to just be a little bit better than we were yesterday. So I want you to picture that room one last time. It's quiet, your hand is hovering right over the button, the entire planet is holding its breath. The question is no longer about what the button can do, but what kind of world deserves your decision. Can humanity truly be trusted with a future too large for its own hands?